allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Town of Burlington will be holding the July 17th, 2025 meeting as a hybrid meeting. The governor issued an executive order on March 12th, 2020, authorizing remote meetings under GL Code 30A, Section 20, and extended by Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, including permitting remote meetings and participation until March 31st, 2025.
As always, members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting, but note that while an option for remote attendance is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting or hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast. Those seeking to attend remotely may do so via the following. townofburlington.webex.com is the URL. Our meeting number is 2340-691-3117. Our meeting passcode is 1645, and you can join the WebEx meeting on your phone at 617-315-0704. If you're looking to participate online, raise your hand, use the raise your hand function in the WebEx, and staff will send you a request to unmute. We're broadcast on the BCAT government channel. You can find it on Comcast 9, RCN 15, Verizon 41, and streamed on Facebook Live via the BCAT government Facebook page. And then I think public participation.
Is there anyone in the audience or online who is here to speak on an item that is not currently on our agenda?
We do have one online. Ian, a request to unmute was just sent to you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Could you please identify yourself for the record?
Oh, sure. I'm Ian Ramey with Copley Wolf Landscape Architect, and I'm here to speak on behalf of Northwest Park and the development at Middlesex.
So that item is currently on our agenda.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I will mute and turn off my camera.
It's on our agenda. It's a second item that we'll be speaking about.
All right, we'll come back to you. Staff?
Announcement?
Yeah, so the celebration of Indian artistry will be July 27th from 1 to 3, and that will be at the Burlington Sculpture Park, and that is hosted by the Indian Americans for Burlington and Burlington Arts Committee. There will be an emergency preparedness for pets training that will be next Tuesday, July 29th from 3 to 4:30 p.m. and that's at the Rohannes Park Playground, and the Burlington Police Animal Control will be there to help you learn ways you can prepare for unforeseen events with your pets. Celebrate Burlington Day is coming up on Saturday, August 2nd, and that's going to be at the Town Common. There's going to be events all day from 11 to 4. There's going to be activities and performers. 5 to 7 is the car show. 7 p.m. is the concert. And then at 9 o'clock, there will be fireworks. And if you want to learn more, go to the Parks and Recreation Department website. And then there will be a special planning board meeting for town meeting items only, and that will be Thursday, August 7th at 6:30 p.m. Here in the Town Hall main hearing room.
Thank you. Just curious, what's emergency preparedness for pets?
It covers everything, according to the post of, if there's a weather event, if they're sick,
So
it's getting you for any emergency for your pets, so they are safe, and you're prepared.
So it's basically saying if it's 90 degrees, you shouldn't walk your dog on the dark pavement, because if you can't put your feet down, your pet shouldn't either?
Those are the questions that can be asked,
Good.
and they will be there to
Just
answer.
turn it out there. I don't have any pets, but,
That's why we have it.
all right. Moving on. 6A is a discussion, petition to amend the zoning bylaws, Article 2, definitions submitted by the Zoning Bylaw Review Committee. Who is here on behalf of that item?
Betsy is online. I just sent you a request to unmute Betsy, so you should see that. And
Wonderful. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Okay, great. I don't have my video on because I'm actually in a car. I don't think you want to watch the scenery whiz by, but I am here. This
Betsy,
is
can I
a,
just- Betsy, I'm
yeah.
sorry. Did you say you're
Yeah.
in your car?
I am. but I'm not driving.
She's not driving.
Okay, can you take it off the car speaker, because I think it's a little bit muffled.
I'm not on the car speaker, I'm actually in a headset, so I could take it off the headset. Hold on, let me do that.
Okay, let's try again.
I'm disconnected. Okay. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Much better. Thank you.
Okay, great. All righty. Anyhow, thank you for bringing a portion of it introduced a year ago.
Betsy, you're broken up again.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
You're broken up.
Hello?
You're broken up a little bit, so if you could start from the top, that would be great.
Okay, great. And I'm just going to get off the highway right now, so we can actually talk to you. Anyhow, so hopefully you can hear me, but if you can't, this is a
Betsy. Yeah, Betsy, if you could sit tight. I was hoping you were someplace more luxurious than the side of the highway. So I'm gonna ask staff to fill us in, and then we can try again, but at least we can get the gist of what we're looking for here.
I can give a brief
Yeah,
overview.
okay, I'm sorry about this.
No worries.
So this is, there's small changes being added to some of the definitions. And as some of you may recall, there was a town meeting warrant article that was submitted by the ZBRC regarding accessory structures in the RO district. And it did not pass town meeting, but the ZBRC kind of looked at it and said, well, there are still some really good things in here. If not the whole article, there's some things that could be changed, especially regarding definitions to make them a little more clear. And so they are you okay? Yes. And so they're changing existing, part one is to change existing definitions. So one of them is building height, and they're adding a section to include.
Actually, Liz, I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
The building, you have the wrong version. Building height was struck out of it on the version that
Okay.
I believe we submitted. It is only 2.19 for structures, and setback at 2.19 are the only two items that are being submitted as a housekeeping article for this purpose.
Yep. Let me grab it, Betsy. You are right. It did look weird.
Would it have been the one that was?
So I just want to note, Jeff DeBona is also online. We might be able to hear him a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
I just sent him a text with hopes he could assist us. Betsy, I hope you don't mind. I just want to make sure that we're accomplishing what we need to accomplish this evening.
Yeah, that's okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a very simple thing, is those two definitions is what we're adding. Just those two definitions. Is what we're which is the definition for structure, and we're adding a new one, which is a definition for setback. So those are the two things that we are submitting.
So here we go.
All right, so what's the difference between what currently exists versus what is being presented?
What currently exists is the, under structure, the part that's crossed out is being deleted. The part that is underlined and bolded is what's being added. We put this, the definition, we use the Planner's Dictionary, and also with the building inspector got approval that this was not only something that's used more standardly in the industry, but also that would be helpful to them as they have to interpret this.
Okay, so for the folks at home and the folks that aren't entrenched in planning and zoning, what's the benefit of changing this to, you know, this standard and this definition versus what we have currently?
So CBRC's role is to take a look at bylaws in terms of make sure they're clear, concise, and part of that is in rewording this to make sure that it's clearer for the townspeople who need to use it or the people who are employees of the town. So that's the objective of a lot of what ZBRC does. And as a result of that, it's kind of finding out what would be clearer and easier for people to understand, and also for the building inspector to interpret and enforce.
So what was the vote with your committee on pushing this forward? Was it unanimous or?
We had everybody, but we had, I think it was 5 approval and 1 abstain.
Okay. Professional staff, do you have anything you'd like to add?
I don't have any concerns with the changes. You know, that there's some questions for me, because I use it every day, as to where certain things get put within the definition section of the bylaw. But, you know, I've been in contact with Betsy about this, and we're having a great dialogue about it. So other than that kind of copy editing stuff, I don't have any concerns with it.
Kayla, can you move that up so we can see the other?
So
Yes, sorry, yes.
I just want to just take a step back, and before, you know, we go to the board, and Jeff DeBona did join the call. He's also in the ZBRC, so I'd like to hear any feedback that he has to provide.
Hello, you're able to hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, thank you.
Hi, so I had to get a little bit caught up. I don't know what you were discussing before, but I was the abstention on that. So we had gone back and forth. We had some pretty lengthy conversation about the need for setback, and this originally was coming in as changing everything around and in the use table and the word setback, and I brought up that's not really how it's used. It's used as the word yard, and that's what's in the building code, and that's what's universally used. Setback is more of a layman's term. We eventually got to this of putting something in there because there was no definition, and setback was used a few times in the zoning bylaws. So I was for that. I was against the other one, and I chose to abstain to kind of take the middle on both of them. I don't understand what the reasoning for changing anything about structure would be. If there could be unintended consequences from it, or different issues that could arise, or what the real necessity is, because the building inspector knows what they're looking at day after day, so does the planning department. Anyone who does this on a day-to-day basis knows what a structure is. It's not up for debate. So that was my portion on it.
Thank you, Jeff. I think my only concern about structure is the structure when we're looking at something, and this is, you know, we've talked about things in different realms. Is structure a tenant structure? Is it encompassing the full structure? Have we received any type of comments from town council or from the building inspector?
So I can tell you that the building inspector does go to all the ZBRC meetings, and he was there and was able to answer questions during the discussion. I can't speak to whether this has been sent to town council yet. So
I can tell you that, both the town building inspector as well as the assistant, Marty, have reviewed this and have been supportive of it. This hasn't been submitted to town council. It was before on the first go-around last September. So town council did look at it at that point, and whereas were some changes in that we're only going with these two things, those two things didn't change.
And there is still time for for town council to review it ahead of the next meeting.
Right.
So we're not voting on this tonight.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah, so I guess my 2 cents, I'd like to hear, some type of statement from the building inspector. I'd like to hear some type of comments from town council. And of course, I'm going to leave it to the board to make any comments, ask questions, or board concerns, or support, of course. Does anyone have anything that they would like to add at this point?
I think it's a good idea to define setback, since we refer to it all the time. That's my only comment.
I'd like to hear from the building inspector.
Yep.
In writing, like you said.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I don't think you'd have a problem doing that.
Yeah, I don't have any concerns, especially if they had said the building inspector was at the meetings, and those meetings are public record.
They're recorded, yep.
Yeah, I don't have any concerns.
Okay.
All right, would you like a motion?
Please.
Okay, I make a motion to continue this matter to a public hearing at the planning board meeting of August 7th, 2025.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you, folks. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. I will definitely be asking the building inspector to send something to you in writing to Liz, supportive of this, and I look forward to your meeting on August 7th.
Thank you. Also, let's get some comments from town council.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well,
yeah, absolutely.
Please.
Absolutely. Yep.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Have a good night.
Moving on to matters of appointment. Item A, or 7A, is a continued public hearing petition to amend the zoning bylaws, Article 8, Section 8.6.0, MBTA Communities Multifamily Overlay District, submitted by Norbum Company and its affiliates, NWP Building 34 LLC and NWP Building 35 LLC.
I,
We have it.
let me know now.
Excuse me. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, staff. For the record, Robert Buckley, Raymond Brussi, and Todd Fremont Smith
I can do it.
from Nordvolt Company. We were here this morning, bright and early, for about a 2-hour negotiation session with town council and members of the town to go through the development agreement that was requested for this project, and I think it was a very positive meeting, a lot of good comments. One of the things that came out from that meeting was that people in attendance would like some additional information with respect to the view of the building from the Great Meadow side, and as well as the view corridors. So we said that we would come briefly tonight, not to take your agenda, and provide a brief summary or view package so that you could see what we're talking about.
Can I interrupt you for one moment, please? I think for the folks at home and folks that, again, that don't follow planning and all the things planning, typically we don't have a development agreement. So if you can establish where that started, who it started from,
Sure,
and
okay.
then, kind of the infancy stages to where we are right now.
Yeah, that's a valid point. In this situation, the MBTA communities, the use, the multifamily housing is as of right. And in order to provide protections for certain things, mitigation, design, one option is to do basically an agreement between the town and the developer that gets recorded with the Registry of Deeds, runs with the project, and is binding on the developer as to what they are going to do and how they are going to do it. Burlington historically has had a leading role in doing this, but they called them, in the major projects in Burlington, under the Planned Development District, the special conditions were an extensive document that was part of the zoning and is apropos, governs the overall development of the project over time. So here you don't have a PDD, so the town council suggested, and we actually, when she called me on it, I agreed that to the extent that there are issues that have to be addressed up front, we should have a development agreement so everyone knows what's expected and how it's going to be executed. So it's basically a contract between the parties.
And so that was, again, just for folks at home, town council had reached out to you, and so I
Right.
think it's, by select board had asked for this.
Yeah, and the negotiating committee consists of representatives of planning board, select board, the economic development, staff of planning, and town council, and us. So, and. As always. As always, right.
You guys are outnumbered.
Outnumbered, well,
Yes, yes,
depends.
the town administrator.
Town administrator, yes.
Again,
sorry. Yeah,
folks at home don't know the things that.
yeah, and it'll be a public
So I just want to set the
document.
stage appropriately,
Sure.
so everybody
And it'll be
knows.
a public document, it will be presented to town meeting, so people will know what the long and short of it is and what has been committed to.
And so typically, this action would have been performed by special permit instead of,
Under normal circumstances, given, given the MBTA communities, and the way that the law is written, and, usually these types of things, we usually do mitigation. So what a development agreement is mitigation for the additional density, the additional building and the additional traffic and all that comes with it. And that's essentially what the planning board has done in the past when we negotiate things within special permits and within PDD. So it's similar in that fashion, but it's, we're doing it on the front end as opposed to when the special permit is before us. And so it's different because this is before town meeting has even voted. So having this development agreement ahead of time, if whatever happens at town meeting, if it doesn't go through, the contract is null and void. But
if it does go through, then what happens?
if it does
If
go.
town meeting approves.
If town meeting does approve it, then the, both parties, it's a contract, are bound by the development agreement, and it's mitigation for the additional building.
So again, because folks at home don't know. So if town meeting approves this change in zoning, then does it come back to planning board?
Yes, it will eventually come back to planning board, yes, because they have to do a site plan. It's a new building. Any new square footage in the town requires a site plan review, except for single-family homes.
And then from there, what does planning board and what's planning board's purview after the agreement has already been set pre-town meeting vote?
Wait, say that again, I'm
So-
sorry.
So the agreement is set in place, right?
Yep, we got it.
If town meeting decides that they want this
Yep.
type of density,
Sure,
right,
yep.
then it comes back to planning board. What is planning board's role
Plan-
from there, and what's the checks and balances?
So the planning board's role would be going through the site plan review process. And so in Article 9 of the bylaw, zoning bylaw, it goes through all of the criteria that have to be met through site plan review process and everything that, we would look for. It's also when we get down into kind of the nitty-gritties of, transportation analysis, and getting all of that data. And one of the reasons we're doing that, it's, if they spend lots of money to do traffic analysis and then it doesn't go through town meeting, it's kind of, it's, you know what I mean? It's a lot of money that is kind of down the drain, so trying to meet that balance, but that is, that's the gist.
Attorney Buckley?
Yeah, if I could, it's a very good question. There's no attempt, excuse me, the development agreement, as Liz indicated, requires a site plan, that's the requirement.
Yep.
But there's actually a provision in the development agreement that says that the development agreement, to the extent it's inconsistent with a permit granting authority, site plan approval, the site plan approval controls, not the development agreement. So if you look at it during the process, and you want to make a change in the mitigation or the approach, that's your authority. You cannot negate your statutory authority to approve that. And that is in the document.
And Brian?
So I have a question. So here we are, it's July 17th, and you guys are talking with everybody in the kitchen sink to try to get this development agreement done. So August 7th is our next planning board meeting, because we have to have it for all town meeting articles. What happens if planning board says no?
It's just a recommendation.
It's just a recommendation?
Yeah, just a recommendation, and
Okay.
yeah, and we are aiming to make sure that something is finalized what we're trying
Before August 7th.
before August 7th, so that you guys, we all have a clear understanding of.
Yeah, because I don't want us to throw a huge monkey wrench.
Right, 100%. So the planning board, the statute in Mass General Law is that to put anything regarding the zoning bylaw or zoning amendment on the warrant for town meeting, it needs to get a vote of recommendation by the planning board. So that can be a vote of positive recommendation or a vote of negative recommendation, but the vote itself has to take place.
It's more of a commentary, it's not a recommendation, right?
No,
Because
we're
if we-
voting,
That's
Well,
what we've
negative,
always
yeah.
used,
Yeah,
that's
I guess
the
that's
motion
the
is
term.
always,
That's the term, the verbiage, I understand.
in terms of the schedule, just because it's a valid concern, after our discussions today, town council did indicate that she expected to get a revised draft to our staff by, I think, Monday, maybe Tuesday at the latest.
Right.
So then we can.
We're gonna do a quick-
look at
we're gonna-
that and turn it around as quickly as possible.
Yeah. It would be Madam Chair, it would be our expectation that before the 7th, that the agreement would be agreed to be between the parties. I mean, that's the objective. So-
Right, so we're not one of the parties, but we'll have that document when we
Right.
make our recommendation.
Correct.
I'd respectfully ask that the board has that document at least by like the 4th or the 5th, so that we can review that. You know, this is not a typical way of doing business, or the way that we've done things in the past. And especially where we have some newer board members, I want to make sure that we have an opportunity to ask the questions and everybody can educate themselves and feel comfortable with what they're moving forward with. I want to make sure that we support you appropriately and give not only you, but the town, you know,
Madam Chair, you have
appropriate
our
time that they
commitment,
deserve.
we will do that. Maybe you want to make sure that town council does the same. But we will do that.
getting comments at 4:30 yesterday afternoon and hoping that I was going to be able to review them, but, you know, this morning was,
No, I agree.
it's a little tough. Okay, so,
We just have a
Moving-
brief presentation.
Yes.
So
Please do.
we will be brief. We were asked to come back tonight. Again, Todd Fremont Smith with Nordbaum Company. Bob and I are here tonight live in the Matrix, as I say. Tamara Roy, who's the lead designer at Stantec, is available. She's going to make a few brief comments or to answer questions. Ian Ramey, who is the lead landscape architect, is also on the phone. I see Frank DiPietro lurking in the background from Cape Cod as well. So if there's a civil engineering question, which I don't think we'll get there tonight, but he's here as well. So go to the next one. Won't dwell on the next slide, but just the public process. We've been at this for a while. It's been a lot of fun. We're going to keep going until we get somewhere, hopefully. Go to the next slide. We have presented to the select board, since we saw you last, we did go to the select board, and then we've been negotiating the contract. The committee this morning asked us to speak tonight about renderings, public spaces, and the potential for view corridors from Middlesex Turnpike out to the Great Meadow. Go to the next one. So I'll just speak to this. This is an image you've seen already. This is looking from 3rd Avenue. Unless Tamara, can we promote Tamara?
Yep, I
To
can do
speak, in
that.
case she wants to.
Yeah, just give me 1 sec.
The primary focus of this morning's meeting was the Great Meadow rendering, so would the board like me to move more quickly through?
Yeah, let's just look.
The next slide, we did put heights, just so the board can see the proposed heights of the building. Bancroft, again, is 41 feet, so the step back in the facade at Middlesex Turnpike is 44 feet. Go to the next slide. We think that relates very well to 3rd Avenue, and we really think this is an extension of 3rd Ave, and it creates kind of a village or district as you're pulling up to Middlesex Turnpike. If you go to the next slide, you've seen that image. Again, the heights, Archer is 67 feet, and you see the top of the proposed building at 58 feet. But again, the step back in the massing on Middlesex is at 44 feet, which is relating to Bancroft. So it's in scale very similar. I don't know if Tamara, can you speak, Tamara?
Yeah, Tamara, there you
Oh.
go.
I have an
You're
actual-
unmuted still.
Maybe you're on mute. The poor,
This is
poor-
the new, this is what we
Okay,
have.
is that better?
there you go. So,
Can you hear me now?
yes. So,
Okay, great.
you want
Hi,
to-
everyone. Nice to see you again. Yeah, if you could just go back to the last slide for a second, Todd.
okay,
Just want to point out some of the materials as we come around to Great Meadow Road.
yep.
Is it this one?
Yes. That one, yes, thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that we are using a combination of 3 materials. It's decorative concrete block at the base, it's brick in these front 2 4-story buildings that are labeled as 44 feet, and then clapboard and panel siding, which are in the sort of light tones and dark tones. And so when you come around to the other side, we were asked to talk about the Great Meadow Road facade, so we can go next. So this is a view from the low side of, with the sort of tate and stuff behind you. And we pulled the building really to the north part of the site in order to get that, to allow that walkway and view corridor from Middlesex Road to Great Meadow to the left. And we're keeping several large existing trees, including the one that's in the foreground hiding the corner of the building. And so I want to actually click to the next slide because we're often accused as architects that we're hiding something. So we did try to make this transparent so that you could see the building behind. But what's happening on the site is that, as we've talked about before, Middlesex Road is 20 feet higher than Great Meadow Road. And so we're able to tuck our structured parking in underneath. And so we have a base of about 20 feet, and it's that decorative concrete block. And then above that are the 2 different colors of panels, the light colored clapboard and then the dark colored panel. And so the building basically reads as a base, a middle, and a top. And then as you sort of go down Great Meadow Road, you can see that, it's not a long facade. It's actually broken up into these wings with little step back courtyards. So that really alleviates any sense of a wall back there or any sense of a back. Because, what we realize is that the tenants to the building are going to be coming in and out with their cars here daily. And so we're not going to make it, something that is not pleasing. We're going to make it as nice an entry as we have an entry on the front. So just wanted to let you know that. We could go next.
Can I ask
and these are just the heights.
Before you move on, can I ask a question about?
Sure.
The first 2 floors in the back, as I understand it, are the garage.
Correct.
Difficult for me to see. It looks like there's sort of windows across on the second level.
Yes, we've used this technique before, just so that it doesn't, we don't leave it blank, it doesn't look like a garage, we're actually just punching windows into it so that it looks like a part of the building.
Okay, yeah, thank
And
you.
then we're also doing a lot of planting in front of it and berming.
Okay, thank you. It helped me zoom in so I could see what we were looking at. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And then in terms of height, because we have a 2-story garage under this side of the building, on the other side of the building, we get to go right to the street and create that street front. But here, we do have that 2-story garage, and then the building goes above it. So the average mean grade, according to Frank DePietro, around the building is 68 feet. So it's 44 feet in the front, it's higher in the back. But we wanted to put those heights on there so you could see them.
And then I'm also sort of, I know you can't really show this, but I'm trying to, if you go back, I'm trying to sort of picture this building as you're driving up. So this corner is actually very close to the Staples entrance.
That hill on the right, I think, is kind of the high point in the road.
I mean, if I go to the next slide, it would kind of, this would be orienting you to kind of, that's.
Correct.
This, kind of, that's where the view is, where the cursor is, and then if I go back, that's what you're looking at, from that perspective,
From
am I
that
correct?
angle, thank you. So the building, can you go back to the next one?
Yep.
The building actually is not on here.
It's on the left, above the cursor.
It's
there.
this white outline.
Okay, that's it. So
That-
it is, okay, okay.
That footprint is actually incorrect. That was the original design. We've since shortened that lower leg, so the footprint is actually that cantilevered, sort of canted foundation walls. We'll update this. It's longer than we're proposing.
So where's Staples from here?
Staples is this building here.
That building right there,
Where the cursor is on it.
And there's 2 properties in between the Staples and the proposed site. There's 2 older office buildings.
There's one office building between, there's a 1-acre site
Okay, one.
between Staples and our site.
Okay.
121 Middlesex Turnpike.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Here,
I
and
always
then,
accidentally almost go home there, it's supposed to go.
yeah, so then this is the Staples.
Yeah.
This is the Staples site here.
Okay, thank
So-
you. This is helpful.
So the idea here is to use this project to create a link between Northwest Park, where there are 3,000 people working and living, and Great Meadow Road, where we now have Kava, Life Alive, and Tate, and then on to the mall. So to use it as a connection point between all that retail energy and people working and living at Northwest Park. And Ian Ramey is on the phone. I don't know if you can promote.
Yep,
Ian.
I can do that. You said
Yep, I can speak. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Great. It's good to be with you again. For the record, Ian Ramey with Copley Wolf for Landscape Architects. I think, as you heard Todd mention, really this site is kind of perfectly positioned to provide that critical missing link between Northwest Park and the mall, sort of really improving the overall walkability. You have less than a 5-minute walk to get to Wegmans, and even less to get some of those restaurants and the bus station in Northwest Park, and about a 10-minute walk to get to the Burlington Mall, and even less to get to Tate and those sort of retail amenities in that area. And so we're really excited about having the opportunity to kind of pull the building to the north and to create this open space at the south side to create a public benefit. So really a sort of a public linear park that provides the pedestrian access. So here's an image of the existing infrastructure that's up at 3rd Avenue across Middlesex Ave. There's the existing crosswalk, which is signalized and safe, has a refuge point in the middle of the crossing. That all exists today, so that's in place and is usable. And then this is an image of what the frontage of the building would be along Middlesex Ave. So we have an improved sidewalk right along the road for kind of a more direct route. But what we're really excited about is this sort of meandering path that you see on the right side, which is buffered from the road, provides a lot of access points to the building. We think it'll be well activated by the residents of the building, but it'll just create a sort of linear park experience for the public to walk through. We have opportunities for seating all along it. It'll be richly landscaped and just be a really nice open space experience. Next slide. And so here's just a diagram of the site plan. The dashed line that you see is this pedestrian route that we're talking about, this linear park. Starting on the left, we're crossing over Middlesex Ave with that signalized crossing, and then getting into that meandering walk that moves through landscape moments in front of the building. Again, the sort of widened path moments with seating. And then as we get to the right side of the plan, which is the south side, we have about a 20-foot grade change from Middlesex Turnpike down to Great Meadow Road. And in order to make that fully ADA compliant, we have to introduce a little bit of a meander to the walk to get the length that we need for code. In that meander, though, we now have an opportunity to create these little subspaces sort of in the lobes of the walkway. So there'll be various moments of open space experience, whether it be lawn or seating areas. The darker trees that you see on the plan are existing trees that we're going to be preserving. So we have the space now with the building shifting to the left or to the north to preserve trees and then to supplement and add new trees, really to create this kind of linear park experience. Next slide. And here's just a blow up of that sort of meandering path on the right side. So again, it's about a 20-foot grade change. The reason the walk kind of wiggles around is in order to make the grades fully ADA compliant. But we do have that route all the way from basically crossing Middlesex Ave all the way down to Great Meadow. Next. And then this is just a blow up of the view that you previously saw that kind of looks at what that open space character would be. You can see sort of the path moving through the open space, the introduction of new trees in addition to the existing trees that are going to be preserved, landscaping, lawn areas, lighting. We want it to be safe and well signed so that it feels open and inviting. And then where we have grade change, there may be opportunities for low seating walls and things like that for the people to, basically hang out and enjoy themselves in that open space. And I think with that,
I should also mention too that, because we do want a lot of eyes on that space, that we're showing the French balconies as well in some of the units looking there, which is, just activates the facade.
So we feel that that is it will be a view corridor of sorts. I know that the board, some of the board members were asking about view corridors. I just took a few Google Earth snapshots to show what's out there today. Again, as Ian said, we're going to fight to save those any mature trees in front. This is really, if you go to the next slide, Caleb, struggling to find a view of the Great Meadow from this location, frankly, but
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Yep.
I don't think that came from planning board,
Okay.
but it's a nice idea. I actually don't think it's achievable.
okay, we would agree.
I think that there'll be a lovely views possibly from the walk.
Yes, correct.
That would be
As you go down, yep.
Right.
The seating area is really
Right.
excellent.
And one of the other things I just wanted the board to know that we spent a lot of time today talking about is the connection. Once you come out of that path, it brings you to Meadow Road. And right now, there's really not a pleasant walking experience on Meadow Road.
Correct.
To put it mildly.
Yep.
So I think probably that's part of the negotiation that we're going to be doing, will be figuring out how to plan for an appropriate walking, perhaps biking experience that would go from the intersection of Meadow Road and Middlesex Turnpike all the way down to Mall Road. And that design will probably be part of this project, because otherwise you're sort of just dumping people out onto this unsafe, narrow, winding road. And why would anyone want to go
It's
there?
a pretty crazy road, actually.
Yes, yes,
Gets pretty exciting down there.
yeah.
So we look forward to
So
working on that with you.
that was a big part of our discussion, and it will continue to be a very big part of this agreement moving forward.
That's it.
So I think, Liz and Caleb, one thing I do ask, anytime that, we have any type of proposed residential complex, the one thing I want to make sure that when we're presenting it in front of any other board, town meeting or otherwise, we include the density of what currently exists, what the units are that's being proposed versus, what has been permitted but not built, in addition to what currently exists. So, basically 3 categories: what's being proposed, what has already been permitted but hasn't been built, and then what currently exists and how those differ. So basically, number of units, what the density is, what the square footage of the plot of land is. And then additionally, I guess this is more of a question for me, I guess that I probably should have asked beforehand, but where we're talking about this is being potentially supporting the MBTA guidelines, and where this is a higher density than what we had with MBTA, or what we thought was going to be MBTA. Does this diminish the requirement in other plots of land? So, for instance, and I'm just gonna use dummy numbers here.
Sure.
If we had to have 100 units on this plot of land, but we're now putting 200, can we take another plot of land and say, you know what, we don't need this one anymore because we've already satisfied the number of units that MBTA was looking for?
So, no, unfortunately not, because the MBTA communities law specifically states that we have to have a certain amount of acreage dedicated to that. And so playing, whack-a-mole kind of on the density of things. So no, we can't, because it wouldn't take us out of compliance, is the simplest.
Right.
Okay. Do you have any comments or things that you'd like to add?
So.
Thank you, folks.
Yeah, no, some of the things, and they've heard this, but just want to talk it out a little bit, is something that we want to make sure of is that, the architecture and the landscape architecture looks gorgeous, but we want to make sure that it is very clear and inviting, and that the pathway in front of the building, once you cross Middlesex Turnpike and you get to this new building, that the landscaping in front kind of makes you feel welcome, and that you're not intruding on somebody's house, and kind of brings you down to that meandering path, so that it it's an inviting thing that people know is there and kind of really place make it.
I think it needs some wayfinding signage so that
something we
people
gotta do
realize that they're.
We have to
they can-
emphasize it as
that
public
they're
space.
well.
Yeah, emphasize it as public space and
Right,
kind of
because
activate
otherwise
it.
people will naturally assume this belongs to the people who live
Yeah,
here.
exactly. And so that was something that I wanted to talk about. The other thing is, do have a question, is the pathway on the site, what is the proposed width of that? Is that like a 5-foot sidewalk, or is it intended to be wider, like a mixed-use path?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it does vary a little bit. We have areas where it gets a little bit wider, but at a minimum, it's at 6 feet. And I think at the widest, it goes up to like 12, where it kind of bulbs out for people to sit in, but the sort of little eddies off to the side of the path. But the minimum would be 6.
Okay. Would like to point out that we would like to, we're trying to promote multimodal transportation uses, so, 6 feet is okay, but if we could go wider, I think that would be a little bit, yeah.
We can,
Something to think about.
we're happy to work
Something-
with you on
I'm
that
just
during
gonna-
site plan.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I'm
also
just,
do have a
I,
quick
I,
question of what this building is here,
I think that's meant to be the Cambridge Savings Bank. I mean, what,
across, on the other side of
across,
the
the-
street.
it could be a bit theatrical, but you can, if you stand down there, you can actually see Cambridge Savings Bank. The grades are not that great.
so I'd like to, I understand what you're getting at, but I want to think about that a little bit,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
100%.
understand definitely wanting a multimodal path on Meadow Road, but now I'm picturing this gently sloped curving thing with people walking and then, having bikes zipping by and hitting
Scooters.
children.
That makes sense, scooters.
Yeah, so I don't know about that. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
The
Will-
more curves, the slower the bikes go.
Yes, true, true.
Is there anyone else on the planning board that has questions, comments, concerns?
Can I step in on this?
No,
Okay.
of course.
I just have a question on the traffic, right? How, and this is really, it's not necessarily for me, but it is going to be an argument that you are going to get at town meeting. And it is going to be the traffic. And currently, you say 80% of the traffic is going to come from the south, which means
Did I say that? If I did, I'm not qualified to say that.
It says approximately
Oh, wait a
20%
minute.
of the project's generated traffic is projected to travel from the north
Okay.
via Middlesex Turnpike,
Yeah, in the.
and Great Meadow, while 80% is expected to travel from the south via Middlesex Turnpike, all right? So if I'm looking at that, so if I take that 80% that's coming in from the south, and they're gonna turn into the building, they eventually, unless it's a prison, have to leave. They're not gonna be able to take a left on the Middlesex Turnpike.
Correct.
So they're gonna have to either take a right and then bang a U at the intersection, which we certainly don't want them to do, or they're gonna go down on the Great Meadow and take a right. So you're looking at 80% of the vehicles leaving that building are going to be taking a right on the Great Meadow. And so my question there is, how much traffic is on Great Meadow now? How much of an impact is that gonna be to that current amount of traffic? Because it's certainly not gonna be, they're not gonna be going south on the Middlesex Turnpike when they leave the facility, leave the building, right? So that, you don't have to give me the answer now,
Well,
but
I can address it, Greg, because what we've done in the development agreement, there is an obligation to do a traffic study which identifies the scope of that study will focus on key intersections and circulation patterns.
okay.
And that will also generate mitigation that will be required.
Will that be performed before town meeting or
It
afterwards?
will be after town.
Yeah, because it's so expensive. they're not gonna-
But it's going to
No,
be
I
in the
understand,
agreement.
it's
that you have
just,
to
it's
do it.
kind of an
So our-
integral part. If you think about it, just one moment, if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, when we permitted Citizens in the Kohl's parking lot, that was a huge discussion point, people cutting through, like,
Right.
Meadowvale, going through the Kohl's parking lot.
I wasn't here for that.
Well,
No, but it was a.
do your homework, buddy. I'm kidding, but that was a discussion point at one point, and it was a big discussion point for, especially for folks who have been, a resident for a long,
Right.
long time. You cut through Kohl's, you cut through the Citizens, and then you go up Lexington. That's exactly what's going to happen. That's going to be a little bit
That's
of
what
a,
happened. And in the other direction, already there are traffic issues with traffic backing up on Meadow Road, people trying to take a right onto Middlesex Turnpike, because there's a little bit of a rise there. It's not a
Yep.
great visual, not a great line of sight there. So I have to imagine this is going to impact that. But like Attorney Buckley said, what we talked about today is having the traffic study include that intersection, the light at Third Ave, the light at Mall Road and Middlesex, and then also the light at Fourth and Middlesex, correct?
And also the exit from the facility.
The exit facility, I wonder if we need to include the light that's at the end of Meadow Road onto Mall Road.
We did talk about that.
We did talk about
Yeah.
that? Okay, I couldn't remember.
Is this going
Thank
to
you.
include the times of, like?
Yes, a full
so-
traffic study
okay,
will be done at various times
Well, I'm
during
saying,
the day.
'cause it
Yeah.
could be busier in the morning.
Oh, for sure.
Than even for.
Yeah.
And then one more thing on this. You have 850 new vehicle trips per day. However, 12 fewer trips in the weekday morning peak hour and 10 fewer trips in the weekday evening. How does that math work?
I have no idea. Frank, are you on? So
I can.
housing,
I can-
housing and office have different peaks, right? So what I'm saying is that there's a slight increase in traffic, and just by way of context, I can say that VHB's most
Frank is still muted, sorry, just so you know.
recent traffic counts of Middlesex Turnpike are 31,000 cars a day. So when you view these numbers in the context of that volume, it's, but the traffic memo did indicate a reduction in peak hour trips.
On Middlesex Turnpike,
Frank, I don't know, Frank.
but
you
what
don't know,
about on
Frank?
Great Meadow Road?
Yeah, well, the
I don't
traffic.
I don't have the
traffic
report
study
from me.
will include Great Meadow Road.
No,
Middlesex, all of it.
I'm just trying to make sense of what he's got written here.
Well, they
That's
haven't,
all.
this is, I don't, I mean,
I mean, we can move on, that's, I just
Yeah.
was
I
curious.
think none of this is, these are all sort of suppositions.
yeah,
Right, and we'll- would
Because
have
the
to get.
study hasn't been done.
Would you like me to speak now from
There you go.
sunny Cape Cod?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we should, please, I'd love to hear what you have to say, but, I mean, we're still in negotiations, so I think
Yeah.
we should probably keep it brief, and then we'll continue
Sure.
on. And that way, next time Todd comes, he can wear a tie.
We asked
We,
about
I
this.
was, I threw that out in jest to kind of lighten.
We were told it's a
told me.
summer dress code.
we
I
were
see it back
told
there.
we were fine to come the way we were.
All in jest, my
I
friend.
just have to
partner
say,
back there is
Mark's
giving you
wearing a
grief.
tie.
He walks in with a
I told
Mark
Brenda
showed
that
up.
we told you you could come without ties.
She told me, she goes, don't
we have
give them
permission slip."
grief, because they're not wearing ties. I'm
I
like, now I
shouldn't have said
have
anything, or
to.
she wouldn't have mentioned it.
Sorry.
Good questions, Greg. We'll follow up and do, we would anticipate as part of any site plan review of a project of this scale,
Yeah.
do a full-blown traffic study and really study it with the engineering department and answer all those
And
questions.
propose the mitigation that during the site plan review process, you'll have to be satisfied.
Great. Frank, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Nope, the other folks have done a wonderful job, so I'll be quiet so I won't make any mistakes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there any other board members that have anything that they'd like to add?
I have a follow-up. Last time I had touched upon the percentage of affordable units. Where are we at with that?
So we're sticking with 15%. That's the highest we've ever done at Northwest Park. Tremont and Huntington were both 10%. Lifetime Living was 14%. These projects are very difficult to finance. You may have read in the paper that there are 25,000 permits in Boston which have been permitted but not being built. So there's a huge housing freeze. Construction costs are very high. Interest rates are very high. The town actually commissioned a feasibility study with a third-party consultant. We have not seen that result yet, but I would assume it shows that the projects are almost financially infeasible to begin with. We did commit to the committee this morning to look at the AMI levels to see if we can make it more affordable in different directions. We'll follow up with our committee on
That
that.
delta, that 5% delta from 10 to 15, we had a discussion about,
Yeah.
that may provide flexibility to, 60%. The reality is, unfortunately, you can't count the units, but the real need is at 120% or 140%. But
So that having been said, town council had some ideas that we discussed, and it's still being negotiated.
It is interesting, Cambridge is discussing now at the city council going back from 20% back to 13%. because there's no housing being built in Cambridge. The city of Boston's having the same discussion. I won't get on my developer soapbox, but these things do matter.
Okay, thank you.
It's a good idea.
This is a public hearing. Are there any members of the public in here or in person who wish to speak on this matter?
I don't see any hands.
Seeing no one, may I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to continue this matter to the public hearing at the planning board meeting of August 7th, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Enjoy the balance of the summer.
Well, we'll see you again in 3 weeks.
That's
Yeah, but
right.
that, once you hit August,
It's all gone.
Stop.
Thank you.
July.
Thank you,
Huh?
folks.
Didn't start till July.
I know.
All right, item 7B is a public hearing, application for approval of a special permit pursuant to 4.2.5.9. Motor vehicle. You look very professional, gentlemen. Motor vehicle dealership structure parking facility of the zoning bylaws, 64 Cambridge Street, Asbury Automotive Group LLC and its affiliates, Asbury Burlington POR LLC and Atlanta Real Estate Holdings LLC is the applicant. Who's here on behalf of the applicant this evening?
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. For the record, Attorney Mark Vaughn with law firm of Reamer Bronstein here tonight representing Asbury Automotive Group in connection with the application. With me is Greg Payanassa, who is with the law firm of Aaron Fox, also serving as counsel for the overall transaction itself. Caleb, I think we have Dean Calloway joining as well from headquarters of Asbury Automotive Group in Georgia, but if you, extent you need to recognize him at all. But as I believe you may be aware from media articles and whatnot, Herb Chambers Companies is in the process of selling all of their automobile dealerships, I think with the exception of one in Cambridge, which is going to stay under the Herb Chambers ownership, but they're in the process of selling all the others to Asbury Automotive Group. This would include, obviously, the dealerships that are in Burlington, operated by Herb Chambers, including the Porsche location, subject of this application at 64 Cambridge Street. So just by way of background, Asbury Automotive Group is one of the largest automotive retailers in the United States. They're headquartered in Georgia. I believe, well, we obviously have Dean Calloway, their general counsel here, joining remotely. We're here tonight for an amendment to the special permit that was previously granted by the board back in 2019 for the Porsche dealership to reflect and acknowledge Asbury as the new owner and operator. As we had indicated in our application that was submitted, when the special permit was granted in 2019 for the Porsche dealership, there was a condition that if there were a change in ownership or brand, the applicant should be required to seek authorization to amend the special permit. So in this instance, there's no change of brand. It's going to stay as Porsche dealership. There's only a change in ownership, which necessitated the application that has been submitted. So I think it's important to note that there are no site changes, no operational changes being proposed whatsoever. But for the fact that it's an ownership change, you know, we wouldn't have to file the application. So nothing's changing on the site at all. In fact, Asbury is intending to keep in place the key personnel at the dealership, including the general manager, really to maintain a continuity of institutional knowledge and experience in running the dealership and complying with the terms and conditions of approval. So. Asbury is fully aware of the conditions. They've seen the special permit. They're aware of what they need to comply with, and they intend to fully comply. So they are, interesting, they're a publicly traded company, so they do maintain a robust infrastructure dedicated to facilities and compliance obligations. And from my conversations with Dean and others at the company, I know they very much pride themselves on being good stewards in the communities in which they operate, and I know they're very excited about becoming part of the Burlington community. So with that, I really don't have much more to say. I don't have any pretty visuals or plans to show you with walking paths and everything, so nothing's being changed. It's really just a change of ownership, and that's it, so.
Professionally dressed, no presentations, my favorite kind of like applicant.
I'm on a roll, yeah.
Professional staff, do you have anything you'd like to add this evening?
I do not. I remember when this was permitted in 2019. I remember the condition, and it's just that, a change of ownership, so.
Great. I think it's pretty straightforward. I don't have any questions or comments, but I'm going to leave it to my board if they do so.
I have one comment.
Oh, actually, I do too.
Okay.
You want to go? There's no flag signs, like
Oh, yeah.
we did talk about this in our
Yes.
pre-meeting, you know, the flag signs, you know, the
Right.
wacky, wavy, inflatable armband, like, none
So
of that.
we've been informed about that at the
Okay.
Honda dealership, I
Good.
believe. And
Any-
we've already represented to the building inspector that that will be dealt with swiftly and that will not be occurring in the future. Word has already gone out that there shall be no more wacky waving inflatable armmen.
Appreciate that.
Flying at any of the dealerships in town.
Right.
Thank you.
And then I
Go
had
ahead.
one other thing. It's in your condition, but I feel compelled to just call attention to it, especially at this particular dealership. There were problems in the past with car carriers stopping on Cambridge Street and unloading cars on Cambridge Street. It's extremely dangerous.
Yep.
So we just want to make sure that that never happens. The cars have to be unloaded on your site.
This has also been something that has come up in other towns and something that has already been addressed and will continue to be addressed. So
Great,
I
thank
hope
you.
that that is a non-issue going forward.
I
And
hope so.
Asbury's main goal is to hear as little from the towns as possible, other than good things and ways that they can help out and again, be good stewards of the community.
Appreciate that.
So I do have one question. So, as part of this transaction, doesn't Mr. Chambers own a plot of land in Billerica that he uses to store the cars?
That's right. Oh,
I think it was Plank Street?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I believe that is still the case. So there is requirements to have off-site inventory storage.
So I guess my question is that Plank Street part of the deal? And is that going to continue to that, because he moves the cars from Plank Street to the Porsche, the Audi, the Honda, and the other dealership? What is it, Kia?
So I can't say offhand if that property is being sold as part of it, but I'm sure that it's part of the transaction because there's other properties even where that's being done in other municipalities and those leases are being assigned as part of the transaction so that, again, operations can continue as they have in the past. So if that's how they've done it, then I would have to say that that is how they're going to continue to do it. There's no anticipated change to bring storage on site. That's for certain.
I don't think it affects this decision, but if you would kindly follow up with professional staff just to answer the question, I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
I have a question, speaking of land, the plot of the land.
Behind
it,
Kia.
Behind the Kia.
Yeah.
That we had, the whole town meeting thing about, is that a part of this transaction?
It's not zoned for them to do anything other than just be residential, so even if it isn't part of the transaction or is, they can't do anything with it.
But it's not part of what we're deciding tonight.
Right.
Because this is just on the Porsche
It's just,
dealership.
yeah.
Oh, this is just on Porsche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But Asbury will be assuming ownership of that land as well, and so, but
Okay.
obviously, whatever zoning restrictions are in place, that continue to have to abide by.
Okay, anyone else? This is a public hearing. Are there any members of the public here in person or online that would like to speak on this matter? Seeing no one?
Okay.
May I have a motion, please?
Yes, I would like to make a motion that we close the public hearing on this matter.
Second?
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Okay. I would further like to make a motion to approve the request of Ashbury Automotive Group LLC for a special permit pursuant to Section 4.2.5.9, formerly 4.2.5.10, automobile dealership which may include integrated structured parking of the zoning bylaws, to permit a change in ownership of 64 Cambridge Street, Porsche, Burlington, from Herb Chambers Cambridge Street LLC to Asbury Burlington POR LLC, and Atlanta Real Estate Holdings LLC for property located in the general industrial district at 64 Cambridge Street, subject to the terms and conditions contained in Exhibit A attached.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome to Burlington.
Thank
Have a
you
good
very
evening,
much.
folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to take items 7C and 7D together.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Mister.
I know I stumbled on that. Madam Chair.
7C is a public hearing, application for approval of a special permit pursuant to 4.2.6.10, restaurant fast order food and takeout of the zoning bylaws, 68-110 Burlington Mall Road. Poke BMP LLC is the applicant. Item 7D is a public hearing, application for approval of a special permit pursuant to 6.1.2.2, non-conforming structures and premises of the zoning bylaws, 68-110 Burlington Mall Road. Poke BMP LLC is the applicant. Good evening.
Good evening again, Madam Chair and board members. For the record, Attorney Mark Vaughn, representing PokeWorks. Rong Kong is principal with PokeWorks, here representing the applicant. So we're here in connection with the property known as Burlington Marketplace, owned by Linear at 68-110 Burlington Mall Road, a property I think you're all familiar with, obviously. PokeWorks is a fast order food establishment that specializes in the preparation of poke-style dishes, which are based on traditional Hawaiian dish consisting of cubed fish and meats that are topped with unique seasonings and served with rice and other toppings. And I'm sure Ron could do a much better job of me of describing his menu and what they offer, but I know that he's very excited about the opportunity to locate here in Burlington, and specifically at this location. They're looking at locating in the space formerly occupied by Elizabeth Grady salon use there. Same exact tenant space, same square footage as what Elizabeth Grady was in there before. Thank you, Caleb. That's the space right there. It's been vacant for a while. It's 1,900 square feet of space. So they would be going in, no exterior changes to the building at all, but other than internal changes, obviously, to accommodate their kitchen and operations. They'd have a total of 12 seats. All of them would be interior seats. There's no exterior seating proposed. And under the mix bylaw, and as was the case under the prior BG bylaw that applied here as well, this use does require a special permit from the board. So I think that Rong and his team are certainly well established and have a number of these locations, understand what the requirements are for running a restaurant of this type, and certainly will live up to all of those requirements. So I don't have a lot more to add, Ron, unless you want to maybe talk a little bit about your menu, if you wanted to touch upon it. But
absolutely,
yeah.
thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm representing PokeWorks. We are the master franchisee for the Boston territory. PokeWorks is a national company, and we are the leader in the market for poke. Currently, we have a Boston location in Watertown, Arsenal Yards, and we also operate 2 locations in Connecticut. And we're looking to develop 7 more locations in the Boston area. And we're very happy to be in the Burlington area. We've always wanted to be here. And I've been with the company since 2018, opening and operating PokeWorks locations.
Just one item I will add, because I know a question had come up from the building department on it, so it might be a question that you have too, just in terms of the parking requirement for this use as compared to the prior use. This would actually have less of a parking demand under the zoning bylaw. The 12 seats, it's 1 parking space for every 3 seats, so it would be technically 4 spaces required under zoning, whereas Elizabeth Grady, being a consumer service salon use, it's 4 spaces per 1,000 square feet, so at 1,900 square feet, it was like 7-point-something spaces. So from a parking perspective, it would have no more of an impact zoning-wise.
Great, thank you. Liz, Caleb, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Nothing too substantial, just the Section 6 finding is due to the fact that we have this new mixed district, and the design requirements in the mixed district, trigger, this property doesn't meet them, and so therefore it needs a Section 6 special permit for pre-existing non-conforming. So this site doesn't conform to the requirements of the mixed district. So in order to permit it and, meet the requirements of the mix, while also being, friendly to our smaller businesses and our property owners who just want to keep bringing in new tenants, this is the kind of the way we are going to be doing it, I think, from now on. So we'll be seeing a few more of these come in, but that's.
Great. I don't have any questions. I think it's pretty straightforward from my perspective, but my
I just
board?
have one question, and it's just because my eyes weren't so good. So you do have bathroom situation for the 12 people for?
Yes, yes, we do.
Oh, okay, as long as my eyes
Yeah,
aren't
the
so
floor plan
great.
does show appropriate restroom facilities. so,
Okay.
Yeah.
Just trying to see where,
Yep, it's back here.
oh, okay. Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure they did. Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions, comments, concerns? Go ahead.
Go ahead.
A quick question. Did you intend or do you foresee needing short-term parking spaces? I don't know if that's even allowed in this plaza?
I mean,
For the, for the Uber Eats and things like that?
So I guess that's an operational question for you.
I don't, certainly, I think I have learned in the past that the prospect of having tenant-specific short-term parking spaces is not something that is looked at fondly, so
Okay.
I actually don't know if there are any short-term spaces out in that area or not, but if,
I think there's actually one for the vegan place.
I don't know about
Clover?
that.
Oh, for Clover?
I don't think
Oh, I
it's legal.
No, and I think they like roll it in.
Yeah,
they do.
so-
Yeah, so it's just.
So
for-
if you were to seek that in the future, we would expect you to come back and ask for it.
I think the same would hold true for outdoor seating, because
Yes.
doesn't Cookie Monster have outdoor seating there?
Oh, I don't know.
They do.
Oh, okay.
I'm just
So-
throwing it out there. They do.
So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is, it's not really for the applicant, but rather for the property owner, and that is the dumpster that is located on the site. It's located to the left and kind of behind Chipotle. And it's an eyesore. It is the gate is always open, and it's sort of crooked and half out, and it just looks terrible. It would be greatly improved if they just pushed the dumpster back and closed the gate. I actually would like to request one additional thing besides closing the gate and making it look neat and controlled. Because it's a chain link fence, I think it's fairly inexpensive to get those plastic slats that go into the chain link fence, so it hides the mess that's behind it. So those two things I think are pretty easy. That's what I would request of the property owner, not of you. So that, because right now it's rather unsightly and it's always unsightly.
okay, I feel comfortable that I can make that request known and make it happen. So,
Okay, how do we do
I-
that? Because it's not really to go in this decision,
Yeah, and just so
right?
you know, that dumpster actually would not be utilized by,
Oh.
yeah, because there's dumpsters on, behind the other side of the building.
Oh, okay.
Where they actually have direct access from the back of the tenant
Okay.
space right to that dumpster. But nonetheless, I hear your point
Right.
about the
Could you
aesthetics of what's
perhaps-
there, so.
Because I don't want to try to put this on this applicant, obviously, but if you could have a conversation with the property owner and then speak with our staff, just to confirm that it's going to happen and maybe when,
Okay.
so that we can follow up and make sure that it does. Thank you.
I will.
Thank you, Member Ryan.
All right, so I understand that, and this is more along the lines of from an operational standpoint and from a, how is this really going to work, even though the parking that you have, it meets the requirements for the building, for the property. So I spoke to the guy who owns Gateway Burlington today and learned how much landlords are charging for rent in Burlington for restaurants. And glad I'm not restaurant owner in this town. But he tells me they do an awful lot of business, so I guess you get what you pay for, right? So by taking in the size of the building and the average rents and number of employees and so on and so forth, what is your average ticket on every transaction?
Right now, I can give you solid numbers for our Arsenal Yards in Watertown location. Our average ticket is about $25.
So it's about 25 bucks.
Correct.
All right. And
Bulls aren't cheap. I get them all the time.
And is that for one or two people?
That's an average. So our single bowl is $15.45, so significantly lower than the 25
Okay,
average.
so it's less than two people, all right?
Yes, well, when you average it out, it's probably, I want to say about 40% of the orders tickets that we have are single person, and the rest are either two or more. So it averages out to a much higher than our single item.
I just want
Yeah,
to,
somewhere around 1.5.
just want to interject and ensure that your lease isn't based on your sales, correct?
There is a
Sales
stipulation.
So we just want to be
Correct.
careful on questions with that, because he shouldn't be divulging information in a
No,
public fashion.
I understand
And I want to
that.
make
I
sure
understand
he's
that.
protected, because
Yeah.
not many people know exactly how some of the retail leases work. So I just
So.
kind of wanted to throw that out there.
So I went there today, actually, as a matter of fact, because I saw this, and I saw the restaurant. I said, wait a minute, I've been in my kids like Chipotle. Nothing against Poke, but I know they like Chipotle. Every time I'm in that parking lot, it's a zoo. And I was in there today at 12:23, and I said to myself, how is this going to work? And based upon my calculations and so on and so forth, with 60% of your traffic dining in and 40% of it taking out, those dine-in customers, because you've got on this proposal 30 to 50%, right?
I'm sorry, 30 to 50% for what?
50% is delivery apps.
Right, which means 70 to 50% are eating in. If 30% of delivery,
Not necessarily. They
They
can
would-
take out, they can be walkable.
Yeah, like I could go in and take it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say about 30% would be third party, not necessarily 30% is takeout and 60% is dine-in. I would say 60 to 70%, probably around 70% of our customers will come through the door. Either they ordered on the Pokeworks app, or they'll come in to place a takeout order. For our Watertown location, we have about 28 seats. Our actual sit-down and dine-in is about 10% of our total
Okay.
sales. Yeah.
Okay.
that makes it a lot easier. It's going to have a lot more throughput,
Yes, yes.
so it'll be in and out, and you're going to have
Correct.
a lot more cars going in, but if the average, they're not sitting there taking up space in the restaurant and space in the parking, they're just going to be moving through.
Exactly.
It's the
It's,
other side of the.
yeah.
Yeah,
But there's
yes.
no parking on that side.
Right.
The side that they're looking at,
Next to the furniture place, there's plenty of parking.
Yeah, there's plenty of parking in the
at night there is, but I was there today, there wasn't. So, but that was my concern, that if you have too many people sitting, that parking lot on that side is going to quickly fill up.
Understood. That's why we limited the seating down to it. And it's really an effect since COVID. Dine-in has just dramatically dropped. And for the Burlington market, it does look like for the lunch crowd, it's a lot of carpools of people coming in, as we observed from Chipotle operations and Clover operations. So usually for lunch crowd, it's at least 2 to 3 people coming in at a time, group to dine in, and usually it's just carpool for them. So that's why we did our dine in as only 12 seats. We didn't see the necessity for additional seats for that space, given the current market.
Well, that answers my question. Thank you.
Does anyone else on the board have any questions, comments, concerns?
I have a question. I love Poke Bowls. Like I said,
Thank you.
Big fan of Poke. Obviously, the food is very fresh.
Yes.
So how often do you anticipate food deliveries, just given how fresh it needs to be?
Right now, for our, again, using Watertown, Arsenal Yards as a reference, 4 days a week, sometimes 5, from 3 vendors.
And do those typically occur at a certain time of day?
Usually, we try to make it as early as possible. For the Arsenal Yards, we're actually inside the courtyard, and delivery is quite hectic since there is no large vehicle parking anywhere in that vicinity. So for us, we do have rear access, we do have a back door, and side parking could be done. Usually for our fishmonger deliveries, they operate smaller vehicles, more like large vans as opposed to full-size trucks. Typically, Cisco would deliver, truck trailer. Typically, we source more locally, so the fishmongers usually driving more smaller vehicles as well.
Okay, because just with the Starbucks in the middle of that plaza, I mean, it is quite busy even in I'm down the road from there, so don't tell my husband how frequently I'm there, but it definitely in the morning is also equally busy, and when there is a big truck parked, to your point, in that area, it does make the entry and exit very difficult, because it is very tight with both entrances and exits. So it's good to hear that there's not big trucks there. That was my only question.
This is a public hearing. Are there any members of the public here in person or online that would wish to speak on this matter? Seeing no one.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing on this matter.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I would further like to make a motion to approve the request of Poke BMP LLC for special permits pursuant to Section 4.2.6.10, Restaurant Fast Order Food and Takeout, with findings pursuant to Section 6.1.2.2, non-conforming structures and premises of the zoning bylaws to permit a 1,900 square foot fast order restaurant in an existing tenant space for property located in the mixed-use innovation district, as well as the Aquifer Overlay District at 68 to 110 Burlington Mall Road, subject to the terms and conditions contained in Exhibit C attached.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome to Burlington. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. May I have a motion to take items 7E, 7F, and 7G together?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Item E is a public hearing, application for approval of a special permit pursuant to 6.1.2.2, non-conforming structures and premises of the zoning bylaws, 75 Middlesex Turnpike, Burlington Mall. El Taco Guapo Company Incorporated is the applicant. Item F is a public hearing, application for approval of a special permit pursuant to 14.8, design waivers, alternative compliance, and special permit criteria of the zoning bylaws, 75 Middlesex Turnpike, Burlington Mall. El Taco Guapo Company Incorporated is the applicant. Item G is a discussion, application for approval of a site plan with findings pursuant to Section 14.1.b, 75 Middlesex Turnpike, Burlington Mall. El Taco Guapo Corporation Incorporated is the applicant. Good evening.
Good evening again. I promise I'll leave after this one. But for the record, Attorney Mark Vaughn with Reamer Bronstein representing El Taco Guapo, their affiliate Rocco's Tacos, that are interested in locating at the space at Burlington Mall, most recently occupied by Rosa Mexicano and previously occupied by Basito. It is our hope that this particular restaurant, not our hope, it is our belief and commitment that this restaurant is going to thrive at this location, and look forward to the opportunity to introduce Rocco Mangle, who is participating remotely. And I'm sorry, Dennis Greenwood is with me from Sousa Design, architect of record for the project. So Rocco's Tacos is a Florida-based restaurant. They have a number of locations in southeast Florida, from what I understand, that Rocco owns and manages, and this would actually be their first Massachusetts location. I think it would actually be their first New England location. I don't think we consider New York part of New England, or I don't know anymore, but they do have one spot in New York.
Tri-state.
Yeah, there you go. But they're interested in taking over the same exact space that Rosa Mexicano was in. We do have some images here, thank you, Caleb, of The front of Rosa Mexicano, if the board recalls, has a pergola element with an outdoor patio seating area. So our plan shows that 421 square foot area, if you would, being enclosed. And Dennis can certainly speak to the design and what we're looking to accomplish there. But we're looking to enclose that with windows that are operable windows that would be able to open up to be able to make use of that space throughout the duration of the year. So Dennis and his team were actually the architects for Legal Seafood, which is on the other side of the food court entrance. I still call it the food court entrance, coming in that side of the mall. So certainly familiar with kind of architecturally what, would be appropriate, and, I think that we can speak to that in a moment. So the floor plan inside, the layout is saying very similar to how the former restaurant operated in terms of the bar location, the kitchen location. There would be a slight increase in seating, I think 19 additional seats because of the layout and making the outdoor patio enclosed as we're suggesting. But and the facility would still have both exterior access from the parking lot, and then it would have an interior connection to the mall corridor as well. So, Caleb, if you'd be kind enough maybe to show the renderings.
Absolutely. I can go to the colorful, pretty ones.
There you go. But I know Dennis, his team have spent a lot of time and effort designing something here that they think is really going to be attractive. Quality materials, something that, will really be an improvement, we feel, over what's out there aesthetically. And certainly we think that having that enclosed space, the operable windows where, they could open up on a nice spring or summer day or evening and, provide some energy there. I think, based on Rocco's experience elsewhere, he's very confident that this is going to be a successful Mexican restaurant for Burlington residents and others to enjoy. So, Rocco, I know you're on the horn here, but if I know Rocco has, although he's in Florida now, has familial roots from the Boston area, and maybe you could just speak briefly about your kind of interest in this site. That'd be great.
Yeah. Good evening. Sorry, I'm driving too, but I did pull over, so I hope you could hear me. Yeah, I have been coming to Boston since I'm a kid, and I should have started by saying my name's Rocco Mangle. I'm not just here as being a restaurateur, but I've got deep roots in the region. Rocco's Tacos was started by myself in Florida. I lived on the street in New York, and I came down here. I lived in my car, and it's really become a beloved name. 18 years. Private company from Florida and beyond. We're in 2 major airports down here, and we're expanding. Actually, everybody's coming to Florida, and we are going the other way. So we're opening up in New York at a Simon Mall property, and then Burlington was my next spot because it was personal. My story began with my grandfather immigrating from Italy, and he worked at the Waltham Watch Factory. He built a life for our family. If you guys are Red Sox fans, which I'm sure you are, they owned the Fenway Service Center on Boylston Street. They used to park all the cars for the games. And then my grandfather won Megabucks in 1973, sadly passed away. He's buried in Newton Cemetery next to my mother. And he instilled all the values and hard work in me. Never went to college, worked as a mechanic for a little while. And I worked down on Trapello Road for about, 10 years. So I still have family in the area, Watertown, Danvers, Groton. I own some property there. My cousin owns a big station in Arlington called Palmer's Garage. So Burlington feels like I'm coming home. And Rocco's is just more than great food and tequila. I know the 2 previous tenants that were there and, learned from, unfortunately, their mistakes. But I think it's a place where community, culture, and vibe will, be built on, a great foundation of families and the local corporations coming into the restaurant there. And I think that Burlington, the reason why I picked it, and I could have picked a number of different areas with the Simon properties is because it's dynamic. It's a growing city. I have friends that own restaurants on the other side of the mall. It's full of families, professionals, high-quality dining experiences, and I think we're going to be a perfect fit. I don't know if anybody's ever been to Rocco's before. The reason for the four-season patio is I remember how brutally cold the winters are in Boston, and now how brutally hot the summers are here in Florida. So what we try to do is have an inside-outside patio, similar to what you have at Legal Seafood. I've also done the same exact thing in New York. So, I'd really like to plant my flag here in Burlington, and I really want to thank you guys for considering me if, you're going to be in this next chapter of my book. And if you have any questions,
Thanks very much.
So I was going to, not to take Liz's thunder, sorry, so the application that we submitted, the use is allowed by right, the restaurant use under the mixed bylaw. We submitted for the site plan approval. Similar to the Pokeworks application, we did include the non-conforming premises use. For example, the mall property is non-conforming, I think, if you look at certain components of the new mixed bylaw. So from a belt and suspenders approach, we felt it appropriate to include that. We did, and I know you're still working on it sounds like the rules and regulations and all that. This is a 421 square foot building addition for a mall that's over 1 million square feet. So it's, de minimis, fistful of sand at the beach, whatever, analogy you'd want to use. So, we don't, and I think when you look at the renderings, it is really befitting of what a building should look like at this location. So, but sorry, I just wanted to mention that.
You get the thunder back.
So that's what I was stolen, but it's okay, Mark, I appreciate it. But yes, that's what I was going to talk about, go over the Section 6 finding. And similarly, it's a mechanism to make sure that, we are adhering to, the regs of the mixed district while also allowing some flexibility to allow, existing tenant spaces to re-tenant, and that it's not overly burdensome to smaller business owners, and so that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. I don't really have any questions or concerns. I mean, I looked at the design, it seems like it's still handicap compatible to get around if we're moving things out. Are there bollards or like protection?
They have you can see here, and correct me if I'm wrong with it, having the planter bollards.
Okay, great.
That's the design choice, and these will have this type of landscaping. If there's anything else you want to add?
Yeah, certainly. They're the heavyweight concrete planters that are going to act as bollards right in front of the entire length of that enclosed patio.
Okay, great.
You can see it also on one of the previous slides. You can kind of see it here as well, that it goes around the entire area.
Great. Thank you. I don't have anything else to add. Is there any planning board members that'd like to comment, question, concern, support?
I'll just make one comment. A four-season room like that looks a lot better than what's currently there.
I agree.
You don't like the cement barriers?
I was gonna say, it definitely, my only comment I was gonna make is that like it draws appeal.
Yes.
To
Yeah.
the area, which I think before
activates
people were
it.
like,
Yeah.
what is this? And I think it's also a nice balance to like the Legal Seafood on this side of the
Yeah.
entrance,
Yeah.
and then this one here.
Yeah.
I agree. This is a public hearing. Are there any members of the public here in person or online who wish to speak on this matter? Seeing no one.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing on this matter.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, I would further like to make a motion to approve the request of El Taco Guapo for special permits pursuant to Section 14.8 Design Waivers, Alternate Compliance and Special Permit Criteria, and with findings pursuant to Section 6.1.2.2, Non-Conforming Structures and Premises of the zoning bylaws, to permit a full-service restaurant in an existing tenant space and to permit the enclosure of an existing outdoor seating area with 421 square feet building addition on property located at 75 Middlesex Turnpike, Burlington Mall, in the Mixed-Use Innovation District, as well as the Aquifer Overlay District, subject to the terms and conditions contained in Exhibit C attached.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I would like to further make another motion to approve the request for approval of a site plan application for El Taco Guapo Corporation Incorporated for a company located at 75 Middlesex Turnpike, Burlington Mall, for the permanent enclosure of the previously approved patio space with associated facade improvements and installation of a larger 3,000-gallon grease trap, as reflected on the site plan entitled Rocco's Tacos, 75 Middlesex Turnpike, Burlington, Mass., prepared by Vanas Hangren Breslin Incorporated, dated April 30th, 2025, consisting of one sheet and the project floor plans and renderings entitled Rocco's Tacos Schematic Design Proposal, dated April 28th, 2025, prepared by Sousa Design Architects, consisting of 7 sheets reflecting the existing 2,400 square foot tenant space with a 421 square foot addition with 167 existing and 19 additional dining seats, subject to the following revisions, terms, and conditions.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One more question for you. When will you open?
Now that we've, it was contingent
When
on
would you like to
getting,
open, my
you know, we'd like to open up in the spring. You know, so now that we have this, you know, got through this, we're looking to move pretty fast, and, you know, look forward to coming there. One of the things I wanted to mention, ADA came up. I'm very cognizant of ADA. I have multiple sclerosis, so, you know, we are very conscious of the ADA and the egress and everything else within the restaurants, so just wanted to bring that up.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I wish you the best. Welcome to Burlington. Look
Thank you.
forward to enjoying your establishment. Have a good night, folks.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I'd like to thank Liz and Caleb, too, for their assistance. All 3 of these applications have been tonight. I know we've had a lot of back and forth, so thank you very much for your time, and so.
Yep, we have a great staff.
Thank you. We're very fortunate.
Thank you.
Moving on to minutes, May 15th, 2025. Has everyone had a second to review?
Yes.
Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept the minutes of May 15th, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor?
Yes. Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Liz, do you want to chime in on subcommittee reports?
Sure. These were supposed to be in the discussion section, guys. Sorry about that. But it's
That's
okay.
it.
It's
That's
fine.
done.
It's fine.
So the mixed district design standards, this document, we have it in draft form. We have hired Innis Associates. She is the same firm that worked on finalizing the master plan document. So she's a full-service planning and design firm. And so she's going to be helping us go through the design rules and regulations to make sure that it is straightforward and clear to developers, as well as the planning board and staff, to make sure that we can streamline this process, as well as make sure that all the permitting, path of permitting is clear as well. And so she's done this in other communities, and we have a really good base with what we've been provided. So I think that, having a little bit of hand-holding on this with somebody who's been doing form-based codes and has the kind of the staff to do a lot more with visuals, I think, will be helpful.
What's anticipated completion date?
We have, the RFP goes until December 1st, I think, is when we're looking.
Right. So ultimately, we should be able to submit this to January town meeting?
So this
December 1st is kind of.
It doesn't go to town meeting.
It does,
Oh, yeah, no, it doesn't have to?
it doesn't go to town meeting. However, that is important because we do not yet know if after doing this whole process, this whole project, whether or not we may decide that we still think it's necessary to ask town meeting to give us special permit authority over certain uses. We
To revise
withdrew that.
existing guidelines,
Right,
basically.
we
Got it.
withdrew that in May, And the question remains, maybe we can achieve everything we need to through this process, but in case we can't, we want it done in time for us to put something on January warrant.
And when is stuff due for the January warrant?
So I don't think it could go for January, given the timeline, but also, I
Right.
mean,
Why?
because the January warrant deadline is the third week of October.
Okay.
Like, you have to have a draft.
That is aggressive.
Guys,
I'm
this
just,
is why. This
Yeah.
is-
Third week of
Okay.
October, that's 3 months.
So I think,
yeah.
Liz, I don't know if we have to, I mean, maybe,
Well, you know what? What I would suggest is maybe what we do is we put a placeholder in for special permits, and then if we don't need it, we can withdraw it.
Sure, and I mean, special permits, that's one thing to consider, but there might be other things
Yeah.
that just, you know, we want to make sure that what's in the bylaw matches this document, and, you know, special permit is one thing, but we want to make sure that both work and the references work, and that,
Yeah.
you know, oh, I don't know if the consequence here is going to make this, you know.
Yeah.
So it's not just going to be.
October is very, very tight.
Liz,
There's a lot of work.
That town
that
meeting
has to happen.
requires 90 days.
Yeah.
all right, so I think that, you know, what may be
Before
helpful,
town meeting,
let her
just-
read through like the, you know, the situation, what she
Oh, she
feels
has
is,
it, yeah.
well, I understand, but, you know, what she feels is best practices. And either, you know, we can speak individually or have her just kind of give a taste of what she's looking at. But we don't need to do that tonight, so it's just a good preview. So town center signage.
Town center signage, so we also held a town center signage meeting with Betsy, ZBRC, Sally Willard. We invited Mike Murray and Rick Parker from Chamber. Who else was there, Barbara?
Lisa Mead.
Lisa,
No,
no.
she was not there. I'm
There's
getting my
been so
meetings
many
confused. I've been to too many meetings.
All right, so what happened at the meeting?
So,
We got about halfway through.
we got, so we basically went through the document and reviewed it, and it was, I found really helpful. So Rick and the chamber, like, he's used to helping small businesses permit and get through the town requirements. And so he was coming at it from that perspective, and he I felt like he had a lot of good suggestions to make it clearer for applicants who are coming in to get a sign permit, to make sure that the process is easy, because they want to do what they need to do. But if the process isn't straightforward or confusing.
It was very helpful.
It was
to have Rick
so
input.
helpful, so we're
Because
halfway.
I actually thought we were in great shape, and then.
Me too.
Rick kept pointing out, and every time he opened his mouth, I was like, oh, yeah, he's right.
Yeah, it was-
So it was really helpful
was-
to have him there, and we have to have another meeting because we only got halfway through.
Yeah, but it was good. What else is on here?
Middlesex Turnpike multi-model improvements.
So this is something that, so a grant was received for $1 million to look at Middlesex Turnpike with regards to improving it for multimodal access for safety for pedestrians and other uses. And so that $1 million grant was an RFP was done to hire outside consultants. And I was invited with, so we interviewed 3 of them. They gave presentations, VHB, TEC, and BSC Group, to kind of give, I mean, the ultimate goal is to get a concept plan for the district from basically Market Basket all the way up to Meadow Road. And then within that, get 100% design plan so that actual upgrades can be done. So VHB was chosen, and we're at the stage where we're trying to, we're just beginning. We have to go through the state's RFP process and procurement process with consultants, and so we're getting through that. And I think it'll be exciting. We're talking about figuring out a way for, better connection under 128.
So I think what would be cool, Caleb or Liz, if you guys can just kind of put like a small summary together and put that on social media. I think, not everyone watches our meetings, and it's just cool just for, I know, you don't say. It would be cool just to have like a little blurb of, some of these little things that we're working on. That way, if people want to provide feedback, outside of, Facebook, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
Planning board strategy session.
So this is something that was brought up, earlier on in the year after the election. And just wanted to make sure that that it's still in the back of my mind, doing a strategy session for the board to talk about what the priorities are of the board. I also like to use it, and it's historically been used for, education about, where does the board's authority come from, what can and can't you do, what's the difference between a site plan and a special permit, all of these things. And so I've been kind of thinking about bringing in people who do this, which are people at CPTC, so the Citizens Planner Training Collaborative, and they provide trainings. You sometimes see me emailing you about their online trainings, but they also do in person, which I think is a little bit more dynamic, and we can kind of personalize it a little more. So thinking about doing that, so I just wanted to keep that on your radar, so it's still on my radar.
Can you send out a doodle poll?
Yes.
And figure out when that works?
'Cause
and
until
then
we pick a
can
date,
take
it's
the
not gonna
next- Exactly. So, pick a couple dates, we'll figure out what works. And then on that happy note, may I have a motion, please? And I'm sorry, does anyone else have any questions, concerns, things that they would like to bring up? May I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor? Opposed? Have a good evening, folks.
Wasn't it
Oh,
like
maybe
three
it's-
paragraphs?